Amara's hand froze on the door handle. Through the small window of room 304, she could see him sitting upright in bed, eyes open, staring directly at her. 3 months. 3 months of silence, of machines breathing for him, of her voice filling the empty space between life and death. And now Min-jae was awake. She should get the doctor. She should press the call button. She should do anything except stand here like her feet had grown roots into the hospital floor. But then he smiled. Not the confused, disoriented smile of someone waking from a coma. This was recognition. This was joy. "Yeji," he said, his voice rough from disuse. "You came back." Amara's stomach dropped. The door swung open before she could move. Nurse Kim rushed past her, clipboard clattering to the floor. "Dr. Choi. He's awake. Mr. Park is awake." The hallway exploded into controlled chaos. White coats, urgent Korean, the squeak of rubber soles on linoleum. Amara pressed herself against the wall as the medical team flooded into the room, but Min-jae's eyes never left her face. "Don't leave," he said, reaching toward her even as Dr. Choi blocked his view. "Please don't leave again." 20 minutes later, Amara sat in Dr. Choi's office with her hands clenched in her lap. "He thinks I'm someone else." Dr. Choi removed his glasses, rubbed the bridge of his nose. "Retrograde amnesia. Not uncommon with traumatic brain injuries. He's lost approximately 5 years of memory. But I only started working here 2 months ago. I never." "You sing to him." Dr. Choi's tone wasn't accusatory, just tired. "The night shift supervisor told me. Every night for the past 6 weeks." Heat crept up Amara's neck. "The research says coma patients respond to familiar stimuli. Music, voices. I'm not criticizing your care, Miss Okafor." He leaned forward. "I'm explaining why his brain might have attached to you. The human mind abhors a vacuum. When he heard your voice in the darkness, when he fought his way back to consciousness, he associated you with someone significant from his past." "Yeji." The name felt strange in her mouth. His first love. They were together for 3 years. She left for New York 5 years ago for a fellowship with the Philharmonic. It ended badly. Amara stood. "Then you need to tell him. You need to explain that I'm just a nursing student who—" "Sit down, Miss Okafor." The authority in his voice made her knees bend before her brain could protest. Dr. Choi's expression softened. "If we contradict his memories too aggressively, we risk psychological fracture. The mind is fragile after trauma. We need to let him surface slowly, let reality seep in naturally." "What does that mean?" "It means I need you to visit him. Briefly. Let him see you, talk to you. Don't confirm his delusion, but don't shatter it either. Walk the line until his memory begins to restore itself. You want me to lie to him. I want you to help him heal." Amara's phone buzzed in her pocket, probably her roommate wondering where she was, why she'd missed their morning Jajangmyeon tradition. Outside the window, Seoul was waking up, delivery scooters, businessmen, the eternal hum of a city that never quite slept. She thought about Min-jae's smile, about the way he'd said, "You came back," like she'd answered a prayer. "What if his memory doesn't come back?" she asked quietly. Dr. Choi put his glasses back on. "Then we'll cross that bridge when we reach it." Min-jae's brother was waiting outside room 304. Amara recognized him from the visitor logs. Junho Park came every Tuesday and Thursday like clockwork, always bringing flowers that the nurses had to throw away because of hospital policy. He looked like Min-jae. Same sharp jawline, same dark eyes. But where Min-jae's face had been peaceful in sleep, Junho's was carved from suspicion. "You're the student." "Not a question." "Amara Okafor. The one he thinks is Yeji." She nodded. Junho studied her face like he was memorizing it for a police sketch. "You don't look anything like her." "I know. Yeji is Korean." "Yeji is—" He stopped himself, jaw working. When he spoke again, his voice was lower. "My mother is on her way from Busan. My father had a stroke last year. He can't travel. When they see you—" Dr. Choi explained the situation. "Did he explain that my brother has been in hell for 5 years? That Yeji leaving broke something in him that never healed? That maybe—" Junho's voice cracked. He looked away, blinking hard. "That maybe waking up thinking she came back is the cruelest possible gift." Amara had no answer for that. The door opened. Nurse Kim poked her head out. "He's asking for her." Junho's hand shot out, gripping Amara's wrist. "Don't hurt him more than he's already been hurt." She met his eyes. "I don't want to hurt him at all." "Then why are you doing this?" "Because Dr. Choi asked her to." Because the hospital needed her cooperation. Because her student visa depended on staying in good standing with her clinical placement. Because when Min-jae had opened his eyes and smiled at her, something in her chest had turned over. "I'm trying to help," she said. Junho released her wrist. That's what Yeji said too. Min-jae looked smaller in the hospital bed than when he had slept. Awake, she could see the weight he'd lost, the way his hospital gown hung off shoulders that had probably once filled it out. His hair was longer than it should be, black strands falling across his forehead. Someone had raised the bed, so he was sitting up, and his eyes tracked her movement from the door to the chair beside him. "They said you were here every night." His voice was still rough, but stronger than before. "Singing to me." Amara sat carefully, leaving space between them. "The research suggests." "What did you sing?" She hesitated. "Different things. Korean songs mostly. Some English. One time I sang a Yoruba lullaby my grandmother used to. Spring Day." Min-jae's eyes lit up. "You sang Spring Day? I remember that. You always said it was too sad, but I told you sad songs are just honest songs wearing their hearts on the outside." Amara's throat tightened. She'd sung that song 3 weeks ago, after a particularly brutal exam. She'd let her voice crack on the high notes and hadn't cared who heard. But she'd never had that conversation with him. "Min-jae," she started. "I know what they told you." He cut her off gently. Junho was loud enough. "The walls are thin." "Then you know? Is my brain broken? That I've lost years? That I should be confused and disoriented and treat you like a stranger?" He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, his fingers brushed her hand. "I know what I feel, Yeji. I know I lost you once, and I'm not going to lose you again." "I'm not." The door burst open. A woman in her 50s stood in the doorway, designer handbag clutched to her chest, eyes red-rimmed and wild. She took one look at Amara, one look at her son's hand touching Amara's, and released a sound somewhere between a gasp and a sob. "Yama," Min-jae said softly. His mother's gaze snapped to him. She crossed the room in 3 strides, hands cupping his face, Korean spilling from her lips too fast for Amara's limited vocabulary to follow. But she caught the important words: "Awake, miracle, my son." Junho appeared in the doorway, and his eyes found Amara's. The message was clear: leave. Now. She stood carefully, but Min-jae's hand tightened on hers. "Don't go." His mother's attention shifted. She looked at Amara properly now. Her expression cycled through confusion, shock, and something harder to name. "Who is this?" she asked in careful English. "Yama, I'm Amara." She interrupted before he could say the wrong name. "I'm a nursing student. I've been helping with your son's care." The lie felt like glass in her mouth. Mrs. Park's eyes narrowed. "You were holding his hand." "I was just." "She sang me awake," Min-jae said. His voice was firm despite the weakness in his body. "Every night. She was there when no one else was." "We were here," Junho said sharply. "Every day, Hyung. We never left you." "I know. I didn't mean." Min-jae looked between his brother and his mother, confusion bleeding into his expression. "Where's Appa? Why isn't he here?" The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Junho and Mrs. Park exchanged a look that Amara couldn't decipher. "Your father had some health issues," Mrs. Park said carefully. "He's recovering in Busan. He'll visit when he's stronger." "What kind of health issues?" Silence. Min-jae's hand slipped from Amara's. "How long was I asleep?" 3 months, Junho said. 3 months. Min-jae repeated it like he was testing the weight. "It's March, then. Early spring." "It's November, Appa." The voice came from the doorway. A girl 17, maybe 18 stood with a bouquet of sunflowers and tears streaming down her face. She had her mother's eyes and her brother's smile, and when she looked at Min-jae, it was with uncomplicated joy. "Hey one," Min-jae breathed. "You cut your hair." 2 years ago. She crossed to the bed, dumped the flowers on the side table, and threw her arms around him. "You missed my high school graduation. You missed me getting into SNU. You missed everything." Min-jae's arms came up automatically, holding his sister, but his eyes were distant. Calculating. 2 years. "Appa, how long was I actually asleep?" No one answered. Min-jae looked at each of them in turn: his mother, his brother, his sister. Finally, his gaze landed on Amara. How long? She should let his family answer. She should stay quiet. She should remember Dr. Choi's warning about not shattering his reality too quickly. But she'd never been good at lying. 3 months in the coma, Amara said quietly. But you're missing 5 years of memory before that. The words landed like stones in still water. Mrs. Park made a small sound of protest. Junho's jaw clenched. Haewon pulled back from her brother, looking between him and Amara with wide eyes. Min-jae's face went carefully blank. 5 years. The doctors think it will come back, Amara added quickly. Gradually. They just need time to. 5 years. He wasn't looking at her anymore. He was looking at his hands, turning them over like they belonged to someone else. Appa had a stroke. Haewon graduated. What else? What else did I miss? You need to rest, Mrs. Park said, her English fracturing under stress. Too much, too fast. Not good for. What else did I miss? Min-jae's voice rose. What happened to my company? My apartment? He stopped. His eyes found Amara's again. Where's Yeji? If you're feeling the tension, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me whose side you're on, Team Truth or Team Protection. More is coming right now. #batch2. The question hung in the air like smoke. Amara watched the family's faces cycle through reactions. Junho's grimace, Mrs. Park's closed expression, Haewon's confusion morphing into understanding. You need to rest, Appa, Haewon tried. I need answers. Min-jae's voice was steel wrapped in velvet. He looked at Junho. Where is she? Junho's hands curled into fists. New York. Last I heard. You're in contact with her? No. Social media. The words came out clipped. She posts sometimes. Orchestra things. Gallery openings. Her life. She's happy. The question was so soft Amara almost missed it. Junho's expression flickered with pity, anger, and something protective. I don't know, Hyung. Someone called her. Tell her I'm awake. Tell her. No. Mrs. Park's voice cut like a blade. She switched to Korean, rapid-fire words that made Min-jae's face go pale. He responded in Korean, equally sharp. Back and forth, voices rising. Amara stood. This was a family business. Private grief. She didn't belong here. She made it 2 steps toward the door before Min-jae switched back to English. Yama says Yeji broke my heart. That she chose her career over me. That I spent a year barely functional after she left. He wasn't looking at his mother. His eyes were locked on Amara. Is that true? Everyone looked at her. Amara's mouth went dry. I don't know. I didn't know you then. But you know now? Junho said you don't look like her. That means you've seen pictures. That means they told you about her. Dr. Choi mentioned. What did he mention? She could feel Mrs. Park's stare burning into her profile. Could sense Junho's warning tension. That you were together for 3 years, Amara said carefully. That she left for a fellowship. That it ended. Badly. That's what he said. Min-jae leaned back against his pillows, eyes on the ceiling. I don't remember her face. Isn't that strange? I know her name. I know she mattered. But when I try to picture her, all I see is he stopped himself. What? Haewon asked softly. Nothing. It's nothing. But Amara knew. She could see it in the way his gaze kept drifting back to her, in the confusion knitting his brow. When he tried to picture Yeji, he saw Amara's face. Mrs. Park insisted on speaking to Dr. Choi privately. Junho stayed with Min-jae. Haewon pulled Amara into the hallway with surprising strength for someone so small. Thank you, the girl said. For what? Singing to him. Being there. Haewon's eyes were still wet. I read that coma patients can hear things. I talked to him every Tuesday after school. Told him about my life, my stress about entrance exams. I thought maybe he'd wake up knowing I got into SNU, you know? That my voice would be the thing that brought him back. Guilt twisted in Amara's stomach. I'm sure he heard you too. But he woke up for you. It wasn't an accusation. Just a fact, stated plainly. I'm sorry, Amara said. Don't be. I'm glad someone was here at night. When we couldn't be. Haewon studied her face with unnerving intensity. You really don't look like her. So I've been told. Yeji Yuni was pretty. Delicate. She wore these vintage dresses and always smelled like roses. Haewon said it matter-of-factly, without malice. You're different. Stronger, maybe. You look like someone who doesn't break easily. Amara didn't know what to say to that. He needs strength right now, Haewon continued. After Yeji left, he was, broken isn't the right word, hollowed out. He threw himself into work, stopped eating properly, and stopped sleeping. Yama was so worried. We all were. And then the accident. And then the accident. Haewon's voice went small. He was driving home from the studio. 3 in the morning. I fell asleep at the wheel. The doctor said if he'd been going any faster. She didn't finish. Down the hall, Raised voices echoed from Dr. Choi's office. Mrs. Park's tone was unmistakable even through the door. "She doesn't want me here," Amara said. "She doesn't understand. She thinks you're trying to take advantage." "I'm not. I know. But Appa woke up thinking you're the love of his life. From Iyama's perspective, you're either delusional or dangerous." Haewon's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, frowned. "I have to go? Academy." "But Amara Yuni?" The honorifics caught her off guard. "Be careful," Haewon said. "My brother's heart has already been broken once. I don't think it would survive twice." Amara's shift didn't start for another 3 hours. She should go home, study for her pharmacology exam, call her parents in Lagos, and pretend everything was fine. Instead, she found herself in the hospital cafeteria, staring at a cup of too bitter coffee and trying to make sense of the past 2 hours. "You look like someone who just walked through a war zone." She looked up. Junho stood with a tray kimchi jjigae, rice, and banchan. He sat without asking. "Shouldn't you be with your brother?" "The nurse kicked me out. Said he needs rest." Junho picked up his spoon, then set it down. "Dr. Choi told my mother you've been cooperative. That you're trying to help." "I am." "She doesn't believe you." "I noticed." Junho's laugh was humorless. "My mother is protective. After what happened with Yeji, she said she'd never let another woman hurt her son. And now here you are, a stranger he thinks is the woman who destroyed him." Amara wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. "I didn't ask for this." "I know." His voice softened slightly. "For what it's worth, I believe you. You look terrified, and liars usually look confident." "Thanks. I think." They sat in silence. Around them, the cafeteria hummed with life, doctors grabbing late breakfast, families camped at tables with boxes of tissues, the eternal smell of institutional food. "What was she like?" Amara asked finally. "Yeji." Junho's jaw tightened. "Why?" "Because he's going to ask me questions. Compare me to memories I don't have. I need to know who I'm supposed to be." "You're not supposed to be anyone. That's the point. But until his memory comes back. You want me to help you pretend to be my brother's ex-girlfriend?" Junho's voice climbed. "Do you understand how insane that sounds?" Several heads turned their direction. Amara kept her voice low. Dr. Choi said not to contradict his memories. To let reality surface naturally. How am I supposed to do that if I don't know anything about her? Junho stared at her for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone, scrolled, turned the screen toward her. The photo showed a young woman in a burgundy dress, violin tucked under her chin, eyes closed in concentration. She had beautiful, delicate features, porcelain skin, the kind of ethereal quality that looked photoshopped even in candid shots. "That's her," Junho said. "Lee Yeji. Violinist. Perfectionist. The kind of person who made you feel special just by looking at you." Amara studied the photo. "They look happy." This was taken 2 weeks before she got the fellowship offer. Junho pulled his phone back. They'd been talking about moving in together. Min-jae was going to propose, had the ring and everything. Then New York called, and she left within a month. Did he ask her to stay? He begged. The word came out bitter. Told her he'd move to New York with her, that he'd build a studio there, that they'd make it work. But she said his life was here, his family, his company, his roots, that she couldn't ask him to give that up. So she gave him up instead. Junho picked up his spoon again, stirred his stew without eating. "The thing is, I don't think she was wrong. Min-jae's company was just starting to take off. Iyama needed him after Appa's stroke. And Yeji, she was brilliant. Turning down the Philharmonic would have killed something in her. But leaving killed something in him. Yeah." Junho finally took a bite, chewed mechanically. After she left, he worked 18-hour days. Stopped seeing friends. Stopped writing music for himself, only for clients. It was like he replaced one obsession with another. Amara thought about Min-jae in the hospital bed, reaching for her hand. And now he thinks she came back. Now he thinks you came back. I'm not her. I know that. You know that. Even he knows that, somewhere deep down. Junho met her eyes. But here's the thing, when he looks at you, he sees a second chance. And that's either going to save him or destroy him. Maybe both. Amara's phone buzzed. A text from her roommate. "Where are you? You okay?" She should answer. She should leave this hospital and never come back. Instead, she asked, "What happened to the ring?" Junho's expression shuddered. He still has it. Kept it in his desk drawer at the studio. "I found it when I was cleaning out his things after the accident." He paused. "Want to know the really messed up part?" "Tell me." The inscription. He had it engraved before he knew about New York, before everything fell apart. Junho's voice went rough. It says you came back. Like even then, part of him knew she'd leave. Like he was already preparing for the return that never happened. Amara's coffee had gone cold. Until now, she said quietly. Until now. Drop a comment if you think Amara should run or stay. And don't forget to like, we're just getting started. Dr. Choi found her in the staff locker room, changing into her scrubs. We need to talk. Amara tied her hair back. Mrs. Park wants me off the case. Mrs. Park wants you fired, deported, and possibly erased from existence. He sighed. I told her that's not how any of this works. What did you tell her? That you've been an exemplary student. That your care contributed to her son's recovery. That severing his connection to you abruptly could cause psychological harm. Dr. Choi leaned against the lockers. She didn't like any of those answers. But she's a mother who almost lost her son. I'm giving her a pass on the hysterics. He studied Amara's face. How are you holding up? I'm fine. That's not what I asked. Amara closed her locker harder than necessary. I came here to study nursing. To learn how to help people. Not to get tangled up in some psychological drama, because I was trying to be kind. Kindness has consequences. Apparently. Dr. Choi's expression softened. For what it's worth, you handled the situation in his room well. You gave him truth without cruelty. That's a difficult balance. His family hates me. His family is scared. There's a difference. He checked his watch. Min-jae's asking for you. Amara's stomach dropped. Now. He's been asking every 20 minutes since you left. Nurse Kim is ready to sedate him just for some peace. What does he want? To see you. Talk to you. Probably convince himself you're real. Dr. Choi pushed off the lockers. I need you to visit him once per shift. 15 minutes maximum. Don't confirm his delusions, but don't shatter them either. Let him lead the conversation. And if he asks direct questions? About our relationship? About things that never happened? Redirect. I don't remember it that way. That's interesting. Tell me more about what you recall. Make him do the work of rebuilding his memory. Dr. Choi started toward the door, then paused. Miss Okafor, if this becomes too much, you need to step back. Tell me. Your education and well-being take priority. But his recovery will happen with or without you. You're not responsible for fixing him. Remember that. Min-jae was alone when she entered. No family, no nurses. Just him sitting up in bed with a notebook balanced on his knees, pencil scratching across paper. He looked up when the door clicked shut. His face transformed. You came. Dr. Choi said you were asking for me. I've been asking for you for 3 months. You just finally heard me. He set the notebook aside. Come sit. Please. Amara perched on the edge of the chair, maintaining distance. How are you feeling? Like I fell asleep in March and woke up in November. Like I'm missing years of my life. Like everything I remember might be wrong. He paused. But seeing you helps. You're the only thing that feels solid. Guilt twisted beneath her ribs. Min-jae, I know what you're going to say. That I'm confused. That my brain is broken. That you're not who I think you are. His eyes held hers. But here's what I know. When I was in the dark, your voice was the only light. When I couldn't remember my own name, I remembered how you sound. That has to mean something. It means you associate my voice with safety. With consciousness. That's normal for coma patients who... Stop. His voice was gentle but firm. Stop giving me clinical explanations. I'm not a case study. I didn't mean. I know. I'm sorry. He ran a hand through his hair. It's just, everyone keeps talking about me like I'm not in the room. My mother, the doctors, even Junho. They discuss my brain like it's separate from the rest of me. But you. He trailed off. What about me? You look at me like I'm a person. Not a patient. Not a problem to solve. Just me. Amara's throat tightened. I should probably go. 5 more minutes. Please. The pleading in his voice made her stay. Min-jae picked up his notebook again, held it out. I was trying to remember. Dr. Choi said writing things down might help. She took it carefully. The page was covered in fragments, scattered words, half-formed thoughts. Spring. Cherry blossoms. Her laugh. Studio sessions. Late nights. Coffee at 3 a.m. The way she twisted her hair when she was thinking. Her perfume. Roses? Jasmine? Can't remember. The song. Our song. What was it? And at the bottom, underlined twice. Why did she leave? Amara handed the notebook back. Do you remember the answer? I remember the feeling. Like losing a limb. Like forgetting how to breathe. His jaw clenched. Junho said she chose her career, that she left for New York. But that doesn't feel right. Memory isn't always reliable. Maybe, or maybe everyone's been lying to protect me. He met her eyes. Were we happy? Before she left? The question was a trap. Any answer would be a lie. I don't know, Amara said carefully. I wasn't there. But you know her. You know me. I know you now. That's different. Min-jae set the notebook aside. Then tell me about now. Tell me what you know. I know you've been here for 3 months. I know your family visits regularly. I know you have a sister who adores you and a brother who's been holding everything together while she stopped. While I what? While you healed. That's not what you were going to say. Amara stood. I really should go. Wait. Min-jae's hand shot out, catching her wrist. Not rough, but desperate. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrogate you. It's just, you're the only familiar thing in a world that doesn't make sense anymore. She could feel his pulse through his fingertips. Too fast. You need to rest, she said softly. I need to understand. Understanding takes time. How much time did we have? Before, the question came out raw. Days? Weeks? Years? Amara gently extracted her wrist. Ask your family. They were there. They're lying. They're protecting you. From what? The truth? My own life. His voice climbed. Everyone keeps dancing around something. Even you. What is everyone so afraid I'll remember? The door opened. Nurse Kim stepped in with a medication tray and barely concealed relief at finding Amara still dressed. Time for vitals, Mr. Park. Min-jae didn't take his eyes off Amara. You'll come back? Tomorrow? She should say no. Should establish boundaries, create distance. Tomorrow, she heard herself say. Her roommate was waiting when Amara finally made it home at 2 a.m. Yoonji took one look at her face and made instant ramen without asking. Long shift. You could say that. They ate in comfortable silence, the kind that came from 6 months of sharing a closet-sized apartment in Gangnam. Yoonji was a dance major at Korea National University of Arts. All long limbs and perpetual motion even when sitting still. So, Yoonji said finally, twirling noodles. Are you going to tell me why you look like someone ran over your dog? Or do I have to guess? I don't have a dog. Metaphorical dog. Spill. Amara set down her chopsticks. If someone thought you were someone important to them, would you correct them? Is this a philosophy question or a real situation? Real. Yoonji leaned back. Define important. Like, the love of their life is important. Oh, we're talking about that kind of thing. Yoonji's eyes gleamed. This is about the coma patient, isn't it? The one you've been singing to. How did you? You sing in the shower. Same 3 Korean ballads on rotation. I'm not stupid. Yoonji grabbed 2 beers from the fridge, slid one across the table. He woke up. This morning. And he thinks I'm his ex-girlfriend. Yoonji's chopsticks clattered to the table. What? Retrograde amnesia. He's missing 5 years of memory. My voice was the last thing he heard before waking up, so his brain just filled in the gaps. With you as the gap filler? With me as Yeji. Amara took a long drink. His first love, who left him 5 years ago and broke his heart. Shit. Yeah. So what are you going to do? The doctor wants me to play along. Sort of. Not confirm his delusion, but not shatter it either. Let his memory come back naturally. Yoonji absorbed this. And the real ex? Where's she? New York. Living her life. Probably has no idea he was even in an accident. Are you going to tell her? Tell her what? Hey, stranger, your ex-boyfriend woke up from a coma thinking I'm you. Want to swap? I mean, that would be one approach. Amara laughed despite herself. It came out slightly hysterical. Yoonji's expression turned serious. What do you want to do? I want to help him. I want him to get better. That's not what I asked. Amara stared at her beer. I don't know. Liar. Fine. I want. She stopped, unsure how to finish. When he looks at me, he's so happy. Like I'm this miracle he'd stopped believing in. And I know it's not real. I know it's just his broken brain misfiring. But it feels good to be looked at like that. Is that terrible? It's human. Yoonji reached across the table, squeezed her hand. Just be careful. Playing someone else, even temporarily, you can lose yourself in the performance. Like this video if you're as conflicted as Amara. Comment stay or run. Let me know what you do. Continuing now, the next 2 weeks developed a rhythm. Amara would finish her regular shift, then spend 15 minutes in room 304. Always 15 minutes. Never more. Min-jae filled those minutes with questions. What's your favorite season? Autumn, she'd answer, because it was true. Mine too. The light is better for photography. Remember when we went to Nami Island? His eyes would search her face for confirmation. Tell me about it, she'd redirect. What do you remember? And he would talk. Words spilling out like water through cracked glass, half-formed memories, feelings without context, moments that might have happened to someone else entirely. Amara learned to navigate the conversations like crossing a frozen lake. Test each step. Feel for thin ice. Never confirm, never deny. Just listen and let him rebuild his past from fragments. The family maintained careful distance. Mrs. Park attended every visiting hour but ignored Amara completely. Junho nodded in the hallways, expression unreadable. Only Haewon spoke to her, quick whispers between classes, updates on Min-jae's physical therapy, warnings when their mother was in a particularly bad mood. She hired a private investigator. Haewon mentioned casually one Thursday. To look into your background. Amara's stomach dropped. What? Don't worry. You're boringly clean. Student visa, good grades, no criminal record. She was hoping to find something scandalous. Haewon adjusted her backpack. When she didn't, she got angrier. It's easier to hate someone when they're actually terrible. I'm not trying to. I know. But from her perspective, you're still stealing her son's recovery. Redirecting feelings that should go to healing, not romance. Haewon's phone buzzed. I have to go? Just watch yourself, okay? On day 12, Min-jae asked the question Amara had been dreading. Why did you leave me? They were alone. Late afternoon sun slanted through the blinds, painting stripes across his bed. His physical therapy had progressed enough that he could sit in a chair now, and he looked almost normal except for the hollows under his eyes. Amara set down the cup of water she'd been handing him. Min-jae, I know what everyone says. Career, New York, the fellowship. But that's their version. I want yours. His voice was steady but his hands trembled. Why did you choose music over me? I didn't, she caught herself. I can't answer that. Because you don't remember or because you don't want to? Because I wasn't there. You're here now. That's different. Min-jae leaned forward. Is it? Because here's what I think. I think you left because I wasn't enough. Because I couldn't give you what you needed. And I think you came back because you realized you made a mistake. Am I wrong? Every word was a fishhook, pulling her deeper. You should talk to Dr. Choi about this, Amara said. Work through these feelings with. I'm working through them with you. I'm not a therapist. No. His eyes held hers. You're the person I loved. The person I still. He stopped. Do you feel anything when you look at me? The question landed like a punch. Amara stood. I should go. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. She made it to the door before his voice stopped her. I'm remembering things, he said quietly. Little pieces. The sound of your laugh, except it's not quite right. The way you take your coffee but you drink tea now, not coffee. Small things that don't line up. She turned. What are you saying? I'm saying my brain knows something's wrong. But my heart. He pressed a hand to his chest. My heart says you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Min-jae, I know you're not Yeji. The words sucked the air from the room. Amara's hand froze on the door handle. What? I've known for a week. Maybe longer. He stood slowly, supporting himself on the chair. The accent is wrong. You said, autumn, with a British inflection. Yeji studied American English. You're taller than I remember. Your hands are different. 1,000 tiny things that don't match. Then why? Her voice cracked. Why did you keep pretending? Because everyone else was pretending first. He took a careful step toward her. The doctors, my family, even you. Everyone treats me like I'm made of glass. They're trying to protect you. From what? Reality. Another step. I'm not fragile. I'm not broken. I just lost some time. 5 years, Min-jae. You lost 5 years. I know. And somewhere in those missing years, Yeji left and never came back. My father had a stroke. My sister grew up. The world moved on without me. He was close now. Close enough that she could see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. But then I woke up, and you were there. Not Yeji. You. Amara. She couldn't breathe. So here's what I want to know, he continued. Who are you really? Not the nurse who sang to me. Not the girl pretending to be my ex-girlfriend. You. The person behind the performance. I'm nobody. I'm just. You're the person who comes back every day, even though my mother hates you. Who redirects my questions instead of answering them. Who looks at me like I'm a problem she can't solve, but won't abandon. His voice dropped. You're the person I hear when I close my eyes. That's not nothing. Amara's back hit the door. You don't know me. Then let me. This isn't we can't, she struggled for words. You're confused. Traumatized. Your brain is still healing. My brain is fine. My heart is the problem. Min-jae, I'm not asking you to be Yeji, he said. I'm asking you to be yourself. To stop hiding behind clinical distance and just be real with me for 5 minutes. The request was so simple. So impossible. What do you want me to say? Amara asked. The truth. Any truth. Something that's actually yours. She thought about Yoonji's warning. About losing herself in the performance. About the way Min-jae looked like she was Yeji, not anymore, but like she was something precious and new. I'm scared, she said finally. Of what? That you're going to remember everything. Remember her. And realize I'm just the stranger who happened to be there when you woke up. Min-jae's expression softened. And what if I remember and still choose you? That's not how this works. Why not? Because I'm not part of your real life. I am a placeholder. A substitute. When your memory comes back. Stop telling me what I'll feel when my memory comes back. He reached out slowly, giving her time to move away. When she didn't, his hand cupped her cheek. I know what I feel right now. That's real. Why isn't that enough? Amara closed her eyes. His palm was warm against her skin. Because right now is temporary, she whispered. Everything's temporary. You know what I mean. Yeah. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. I do. They stood like that for a moment that stretched and bent. His hand on her face. Her back against the door. The machinery of the hospital is humming around them. Then Amara stepped back. I can't do this, she said. Can't or won't. Both. Neither. I don't know. She straightened her scrubs, needing something to do with her hands. You need to focus on recovery. On rebuilding your life. On what? Waiting for Yeji to come back? She's not coming back, Amara. She made her choice 5 years ago. You don't know that. Actually, I do. He pulled his phone from the bedside table, scrolled, turned the screen toward her. An Instagram post. Lee Yeji at what looked like a gallery opening, violin in hand, smiling at the camera. The caption was in Korean, but the date was clear. 2 days ago. Junho finally showed me her social media. Haewon tried to hide it, but I asked enough times. Min-jae's voice was flat. She's engaged. To a cellist in her orchestra. The wedding's in March. Amara stared at the photo. Yeji looked radiant. Happy. Whole. I'm sorry, she said. Don't be. It's good. It means I can stop wondering if she's coming back. He took the phone, locked it. It means I can stop living in the past. Min-jae. It means I can see you clearly. Not like her. Not as some substitute. As Amara. The woman who sang to me in the dark. The door opened before she could respond. Junho stood in the hallway, expression thunderous. We need to talk, he said to his brother. Then, to Amara, leave. It wasn't a request. Amara fled to the nurse's station, hands shaking. Nurse Kim took one look at her face and poured coffee without asking. Family drama? Something like that. The brother's been pacing for 20 minutes. Saw you go in, waited until you were alone. Nurse Kim handed over the cup. Whatever he's saying to Mr. Park right now, it's not your fault. How do you know? Because you look like someone who's trying to help, not someone who's causing harm. I've been doing this long enough to tell the difference. Through the window of room 304, Amara could see Junho gesturing sharply. Min-jae sitting still, listening. The conversation looked intense, but not violent. Dr. Choi wants to see you, Nurse Kim added. Something about a family meeting tomorrow. You're invited. Invited or required? With Mrs. Park involved? Is there a difference? The family meeting was scheduled for 2 p.m. in the hospital's conference room. Amara arrived 10 minutes early and found Mrs. Park already there, flanked by what appeared to be a lawyer. Her stomach sank. Dr. Choi entered next, followed by Junho and Haewon. Min-jae came last, supported by a physical therapist, face carefully neutral. Everyone sat. The lawyer opened a folder. This is ridiculous, Iyama, Junho said in Korean. Mrs. Park responded sharply. Haewon looked at her lap. Dr. Choi cleared his throat. Mrs. Park has requested this meeting to discuss her son's ongoing care and recovery plan. She's concerned about certain things, influences on his healing process. Influences, Amara repeated. You mean me? The lawyer spoke in accented English. Mrs. Park believes your presence is impeding her son's psychological recovery. She's requesting that you be reassigned to a different ward. On what grounds? On the grounds that you've formed an inappropriate attachment to a vulnerable patient. That your continued interaction is preventing him from processing his actual memories and relationships. Min Jae's hand slammed on the table. Everyone jumped. Enough, he said. His Korean was sharp, angry. He switched to English, eyes on his mother. I am not a child. I am not incompetent. And I will not let you treat Amara like she's done something wrong when all she's done is help me. Mrs. Park's response was rapid-fire Korean. I don't care if it's uncomfortable for you. Min Jae shot back in English. I don't care if it doesn't fit your plan for my life. Amara didn't create this situation. My broken brain did. And if you can't separate your grief about Yeji from what's actually happening right now, that's your problem, not hers. Silence crashed through the room. Haewon's eyes were wide. Junho looked torn between pride and concern. The lawyer shuffled papers nervously. Mrs. Park stood. Her voice, when she spoke, was ice. You don't remember what she did to you. What loving her cost. I will not watch you make the same mistake with a different face. Yeji didn't. Yeji broke you. Mrs. Park's composure cracked. You stopped eating. Stopped sleeping. Nearly destroyed your company because you couldn't function. When you finally started healing, you worked yourself into exhaustion. And then you fell asleep driving home, and her voice broke. And I almost lost you. Do you understand? I almost lost my son because of what that woman did. The words hung heavy. Min Jae's anger deflated. Yama, so forgive me, she continued, tears streaming now. If I do not want to watch you fall for someone new before you've even remembered why the last one destroyed you. She left. The lawyer scrambled to follow. Haewon went after them both, throwing Amara an apologetic look. Junho stayed. So did Dr. Choi. Well, the doctor said eventually. That was productive. I should go, Amara started. No. Min Jae's voice was quiet but firm. Stay? Please. Junho sighed. Hyung, I know what you're going to say. That Iyama's right. That I'm not thinking clearly. That I need time. Do you? Junho asked. Know what I'm going to say? You've been hovering for 2 weeks. I'm not oblivious. Then you know I agree with her. Not about Amara specifically, he added, glancing at her. But about you needing space. Real space. To figure out who you are now, without Yeji's ghost, and without, he gestured helplessly. Without whatever this is. Min Jae looked at Amara. What do you think? Everyone turned to her. She could feel the weight of their attention. Dr. Choi's clinical interest. Junho's protective concern. Min Jae's desperate hope. I think, she said carefully, that your mother loves you. That she's terrified of losing you again. And that maybe she has a point. Min Jae's face fell. Not about me being inappropriate, Amara clarified quickly. But about you needing time. Real time. To heal without complications. You're not a complication. Are not. She met his eyes. Be honest. If I disappeared tomorrow, would that make your recovery easier or harder? He didn't answer. That's what I thought, she said softly. If you're feeling this tension, smash that like button. Comment Team Amara or Team Imon, who's right here. Keep watching. Dr. Choi suggested a compromise. 2 weeks. No contact between Amara and Min Jae. Let his memory continue to surface without the confusion of her presence. Let him work with the hospital's psychologist on processing his past. After 2 weeks, they'd reassess. Min Jae fought it. Junho supported it. Amara agreed to it before Min Jae could argue further. 2 weeks, she said. That's nothing. 2 weeks is 14 days of wondering if you're going to disappear like everyone else. I'm not disappearing. I'm just creating space. Space is just another word for distance. She couldn't argue with that. The first week was harder than Amara expected. She avoided the 4th floor entirely, taking shifts in pediatrics and emergency. Threw herself into studying. Called her parents and lied about how well everything was going. Yoonji watched her like a hawk. You're doing that thing, her roommate said on day 5. What thing? Where you pretend everything's fine, but you check your phone every 30 seconds. Amara set her phone face down. I'm not. He's been messaging you, hasn't he? How did you? Because you get this look. Like you want to respond, but you're forcing yourself not to. Yoonji stole a piece of kimbap from Amara's plate. What's he saying? Amara pulled up the messages reluctantly. Day 1. I understand why you're doing this. Doesn't mean I like it. Day 2. Junho says I'm being obsessive. Maybe he's right. Maybe I just need something to focus on that isn't my broken brain. Day 3. I remembered something today. the studio, recording equipment, the smell of coffee at 3 a.m. It wasn't about Yeji. It was just mine. It felt good. Day 4, Dr. Choi introduced me to the staff psychologist. Her name is Dr. Shin. She asked me to describe you. I didn't know where to start. Day 5, are you okay? You don't have to respond. I just hope you're okay. Yoonji read over her shoulder. You haven't answered any of these? That's the point of space. Space doesn't mean silence. Doesn't it? No. It means boundaries. You can still be human while maintaining distance. Yoonji handed back the phone. At least tell him you're alive. Amara stared at the screen. Finally, she typed, I'm okay. Focus on your recovery. We'll talk in 9 days. The response came within seconds. 9 days, 12 hours, and approximately 23 minutes. But who's counting? Despite everything, Amara smiled. Min-jae's memories were returning in fragments. Not chronologically, not neatly, just pieces scattered across 5 missing years like broken glass. He remembered launching his production company, remembered the terror and exhilaration of signing his first major client, remembered his father's stroke, the phone call, the hospital, the way his mother's hands shook when she tried to hold chopsticks. He remembered Yeji less than he expected. Moments, yes. The curve of her neck when she played violin, the way she organized her sheet music. But the emotional weight had shifted, like remembering a song he used to love but couldn't quite hear anymore. Dr. Shin asked him about Amara constantly. Describe what you feel when you think about her. Anxious, like she's going to disappear. Why do you think that is? Because everyone else did. Yeji left. My father lost half his mobility. I lost 5 years. Amara's just the next person on the list. Do you think that's fair to her? Putting her on a list with people who left involuntarily? He thought about that. No. Then why do it? Because it's easier than admitting I might care about her for reasons that have nothing to do with Yeji. That I might be falling for someone I barely know. Dr. Shin made a note. And what would be wrong with that? Everything. Nothing. I don't know. Min-jae ran his hands through his hair. My brain is still healing. How do I know this is real and not just my mind latching onto the first kind person it found? How does anyone know? Other people don't have retrograde amnesia. True. But everyone has doubts. Everyone questions whether what they feel is real or just circumstance. Dr. Shin leaned back. The question isn't whether your feelings are valid. It's whether you're ready to act on them while still healing. And if I'm not ready, then you wait. You heal. You give yourself time. And if she doesn't wait, then you have your answer about what was meant to be. On day 8, Hae-won found Amara in the hospital cafeteria. He's doing better, she said without preamble. The physical therapy is working. His memory's coming back. Dr. Shin says he's making real progress. That's good. He asks about you. Amara's coffee suddenly tasted bitter. What does he ask? If you're okay. If you're still working here. If you hate him. Hae-won picked at her nail polish. I tell him you're fine and you don't hate him. I don't know if that's true. It's true. The not hating part or the fine part. Both. Neither. Amara set down her cup. How's your mother? Feeling guilty. She won't admit it, but I can tell. The lawyer thing was too much, and she knows it. Hae-won looked up. She's scared. She almost lost him once. The idea of him getting hurt again / emotionally. I mean, it makes her irrational. I understand. Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, everyone's protecting him except you. You're the only one who asked what he needed instead of deciding for him. I'm also the one causing the problem. You're not causing anything. You're just existing. He's the one who's made you significant. Hae-won's phone buzzed. I have to go? Class. But Amara? Yeah. 6 more days. And then you get to decide what happens next. Make sure you know what you want before that conversation starts. On day 13, Amara got a text from an unknown number. This is Junho. We need to talk. Coffee. There's a place across from the hospital. She found him 20 minutes later at a corner table, 2 Americanos already ordered. You knew I'd come, she said, sitting. You're predictable in your kindness. It's both your strength and your weakness. He pushed a cup toward her. My brother's doing well. In case you were wondering. Hae-won keeps me updated. Of course she does. She's adopted US. Very inconvenient for those of us trying to maintain professional distance. Amara wrapped her hands around the warm cup. Why am I here, Junho? Because tomorrow you and Min-jae are supposed to talk. Dr. Choi's compromise period ends. And I need to know what you're planning to say. I don't. Don't lie. You've been thinking about it for 13 days. You have a script prepared, even if you won't admit it. He wasn't wrong. I'm going to tell him the truth, Amara said. That I care about him. I don't know if what we have is real or just circumstance. That he needs more time to heal before making any decisions. And then I'm going to request a transfer to a different hospital. Finish my clinical hours somewhere else. Remove the complication. Junho studied her face. You're running away. I'm creating space. Like everyone asked. No. Space is temporary. This is permanent. He leaned forward. Can I tell you something about my brother? Do I have a choice? Not really. Junho's expression softened. After Yeji left, Min-jae stopped believing in good things. He convinced himself that anything worth having would eventually leave. It made him successful. He worked like a man with nothing to lose, but it also made him hollow. I'm not sure how this. When he woke up and saw you, for the first time in 5 years, he looked happy. Not content. Not functional. Happy. Junho's voice dropped. If you leave now, you confirm everything he believes about good things not lasting. You become Yeji 2.0, even though you never asked for that role. But if I stay? If you stay, you risk getting hurt. He risks getting hurt. Everyone risks everything. Junho sat back. But at least it's honest. At least it's real. Amara's throat tightened. What if I'm not strong enough for this? Then you tell him that. But don't lie and call it kindness. Don't run and call it space. His eyes held hers. My brother's been through enough. If you're going to break his heart, at least have the courage to do it honestly. Day 14. Amara stood outside room 304 for 5 minutes before knocking. Min-jae was dressed in real clothes jeans, a sweater that hung loose on his frame. He'd shaved. His hair was styled. He looked nervous. Hi, he said. Hi. Come in. Please. The room looked different. Someone had brought flowers, chrysanthemums, white and yellow. Get well cards covered the windowsill. The medical equipment had been reduced to just the basics. You look good, Amara said. I feel better. More like myself. Or at least like someone I recognize. He gestured to the chair. Sit. She sat. Silence stretched between them. Not comfortable, but not hostile either. Just waited with everything unsaid. I've been thinking, Min-jae started. Me too. Can I go first? Amara nodded. He took a breath. These 2 weeks have been clarifying. My memory's coming back, not everything, but enough. I remember more about my life now. About who I was before the accident. About Yeji, about the breakup, about the year I spent barely functioning. Min-jae, let me finish. Please. He rubbed his palms on his jeans. I also realized something. When I think about Yeji now, I feel sad. Wistful. Like mourning something that was beautiful but belonged to a different person. Does that make sense? I think so. But when I think about you, he looked up, met her eyes. When I think about you, I feel present. Like I'm here, now at this moment. Not lost in the past or anxious about the future. Just here. Amara's heart hammered. So here's what I want. Min-jae continued. I want to know you. Really know you. Not as Yeji's replacement. Not as the nurse who sang to me. As Amara. The person behind the scrubs and the clinical distance. I don't think. I'm not asking for a relationship. Not yet. Maybe not ever. His voice was steady. I'm asking for a chance. To start over. To meet each other honestly. She should say no. Should protect them both. Should do the smart, sensible thing. Okay, she heard herself say. Min-jae's face transformed. Okay. Okay. But slowly. With boundaries. With whatever you need. Yes. He was smiling now, properly smiling, and it changed his whole face. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you sing to me? The first time, I mean. What made you decide to do that? Amara thought back to that first night. 2 months ago. A lifetime ago. You looked lonely, she said simply. Even asleep. Even surrounded by machines. Like you were waiting for someone who never came. I was waiting for you, Min-jae said softly. I just didn't know it yet. That's the cheesiest thing I've ever heard. Is it working? Despite everything, the complications, the family drama, the uncertainty, Amara laughed. Maybe a little. Hit that like button if you're rooting for them. Comment stay if you want more, or run if Amara should transfer. Final batch coming. 3 months later. Amara met Min-jae at a cafe in Hongdae Neutral Territory, his choice. He'd been discharged from the hospital 6 weeks ago, started outpatient therapy, and returned to work part-time. They've been doing this for a while now. Coffee once a week. Conversations about everything except what they were becoming. He looked healthier. Weight back, color in his face, the hollows under his eyes finally filling in. I have something to tell you, he said after ordering. Amara's stomach flipped. Okay. I spoke to Yeji. The world tilted slightly. She called after hearing about the accident. Through mutual friends. We talked for 3 hours. Min Jae stirred his Americano. It was good. Sad, but good. We got closure. Real closure. How do you feel? Relieved. Like I finally closed a book I'd been leaving open for years. He looked up. She's happy, Amara. Genuinely happy. And I'm happy for her. That feels significant. It is. I also realized something during that conversation. He reached across the table, palm up. An invitation, not a demand. Amara placed her hand in his. I realized I spent 5 years loving a memory. A version of someone who never quite existed. I idealized Yeji because it was easier than accepting we'd grown apart. That we wanted different things. That sometimes love isn't enough. Min Jae. But with you, I don't have to idealize anything. You're right here. Real. Complicated. Sometimes frustrating. He smiled when she tried to pull her hand away. But always yourself. And that's infinitely better than perfect. I'm not a replacement for her. I know. You're not a replacement for anyone. His thumb brushed her knuckles. You're an entirely new chapter. And I'd really like to keep reading, if you'll let me. Amara felt tears prick her eyes. I'm scared. Of what? That you'll fully remember everything and realize this was just a coping mechanism. That I was just the person who happened to be there. And what if I remember everything and still choose this? Still choose you? Then I guess I'd have to believe you. Would that be so hard? She thought about the past 3 months. About learning this tells the way he rubbed his neck when stressed, hummed under his breath when thinking. About introducing him to jollof rice and having him add it to his regular rotation. About the night she'd found him at her nursing school, having walked 40 minutes in the rain just to bring her an umbrella she'd forgotten. No, she admitted. It wouldn't be hard at all. His smile was brilliant. So can I take you to dinner? Actual dinner, not coffee. Somewhere nice. A proper date. Your mother will have a heart attack. My mother is learning to cope. She had tea with you last week, didn't she? Briefly. She mostly glared. That's progress. Last month, she wouldn't be in the same room. Min Jae squeezed her hand. She'll come around. Junho already has. Haewon's been on your side from the beginning. Iyama just needs more time. And your father? Excited to meet you. He FaceTimes me constantly asking when I'm bringing home the woman who sang me awake. Apparently, that's very romantic in his book. Amara laughed despite herself. Okay. Okay to dinner? Okay to dinner. Okay to try. Okay to see where this goes. Min Jae stood, pulled her up with him. For the record, I already know where this is going. Oh, where's that? Somewhere good. Somewhere real. He tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear. Somewhere I'm choosing with open eyes instead of broken memories. People in the cafe were starting to stare. Amara didn't care. That's still pretty cheesy, she said. Is it working? Unfortunately, yes. He kissed her forehead gently, carefully, full of promise. Good, he murmured against her skin. Because I've got about 1,000 more terrible lines, and I'm planning to use every one. 6 months after that. Min Jae's studio was organized chaos, but chaos nonetheless. Recording equipment, coffee cups, sheet music scattered across every surface. And in the corner, Amara sat cross-legged on the floor, medical textbooks spread around her while she studied for finals. Tell me again why you study here instead of the library? Min Jae asked, adjusting levels on a track. Because you make better coffee. I make terrible coffee. Exactly. It keeps me awake. He laughed, saved his work, and rolled his chair over to where she sat. How's the studying? Pharmacology is going to kill me. You said that about pathophysiology. And I was right. It tried very hard to kill me. Min Jae picked up one of her flashcards. Define tachycardia. Abnormally rapid heart rate. Usually over 100 beats per minute at rest. She looked up at him. Why? Because that's what happens every time you walk into a room. Amara threw a textbook at him. He caught it, grinning. Terrible line. But it's true. Still terrible. Want to hear the song I'm working on? She did. He played Ida fusion of sounds, Afrobeat rhythms layered under Korean melody, something entirely new and entirely them. It's beautiful, she said when it ended. It's not finished. I need vocals. You want me to sing? I've wanted you to sing since the day I met you, even if I don't remember that day properly. He pulled her to her feet. Come on, just try it. I have an exam tomorrow. 5 minutes. Please. She couldn't say no to him. Hadn't been able to for months. So she stood at the microphone and let him coach her through the melody, their voices blending, creating something that belonged only to them. Afterward, he wrapped his arms around her from behind, rested his chin on her shoulder. You know what's funny? He murmured. What? My memory is almost completely back now. All 5 years. Everything I lost. Amara's breath caught. And you're still here. Still the person I want. He turned her to face him. Still the best thing that ever happened to me, even if it happened in the worst possible way. She cupped his face in her hands. No more cheese. I'm dead serious. His eyes held hers. I remember Yeji now. Really remember her. The good and the bad. I remember who I was before the accident. The workaholic, the guy running from feelings, the person who thought success could fill the holes grief left behind. Min-jae. And I'm grateful I'm not that person anymore. The accident, the coma, losing those years was terrible. But it brought me to you. It taught me what matters. It gave me a second chance to build a life instead of just surviving one. Amara felt tears slide down her cheeks. So thank you, he continued. For singing to a stranger. For staying when everyone gave you reasons to leave. For being patient with my broken brain and my overprotective family and my terrible cheesy lines. They really are terrible. I know. It's part of my charm. She kissed him then, soft and sure and full of everything she'd been too scared to feel 3 months ago. When they pulled apart, he was smiling. Your pharmacology exam, he reminded her, can wait 5 more minutes. That's very irresponsible, nursing student. Blame the musician who keeps distracting me. Fair. He kissed her again. But for the record, I'm going to keep distracting you. For a very long time. How long? How's forever sound? Like the cheesiest line yet. Is it working? Amara looked around the studio at the evidence of his life rebuilding, at her textbooks scattered among his sheet music, at the way their worlds had collided and created something neither could have planned. Yeah, she said. It's working. 1 year later. The restaurant in Busan was small, family-owned, the kind of place that had been serving the same dishes for 3 generations. Min-jae's father sat at the head of the table, mobility mostly restored, laughing at something Junho said. Mrs. Park was showing Haewon photos on her phone. The family chaos Amara had learned to navigate, to love. And beside her, Min-jae's hand found hers under the table. You okay? He whispered. Nervous. Don't be. They already love you. Your mother still looks at me like I'm a test she's waiting for me to fail. That's just her face. Amara elbowed him. He grinned, unrepentant. Mrs. Park looked up. Amara. The casual honorifics still surprised her, even after months of careful détente. Yes. I spoke to your mother. On Kakao Talk. Mrs. Park's English had improved with practice. She sends a recipe. For jollof rice. Say you like it too spicy, but I should try. Amara blinked. You talked to my mom? Of course. You are dating my son. I should know your family. Mrs. Park's expression was almost soft. She is very proud of you. Top of your class. Good heart. She tells me many times. Min-jae squeezed Amara's hand. Also, Mrs. Park continued. She says if my son hurts you, she will fly here and hurt him. I tell her good. We do it together. The table erupted in laughter. Yama. Min-jae protested. What? Is true. You hurt this girl, we kill you. But she was smiling. Actually smiling. Later, after the meal, after the family had dispersed for coffee and dessert, Min-jae pulled Amara outside to the restaurant's small garden. That went well, she said. Better than expected. I thought for sure she'd bring up grandchildren. She did. Twice. You were in the bathroom. Of course she did. He turned to face her. Can I tell you something? Always. I went back to the hospital last week. Room 304. Just to see it. Why? I wanted to remember. Really remember. What it felt like to wake up and see you for the first time. His hands found her waist. Want to know what I realized? What? That I'd do it all again. The accident, the coma, losing 5 years. All of it. If it meant finding you on the other side. Min-jae, that's. I know. Cheesy. Sentimental. Probably medically inadvisable. I was going to say beautiful. Oh. He looked genuinely surprised. That works too. She kissed him, soft and slow, tasting like honey from dessert and happiness, and coming home. When they broke apart, She rested her forehead against his. You know what I realized? She asked. Tell me. That you're right. About second chances. About choosing with open eyes. She pulled back to look at him properly. I came to Seoul to study nursing. To build a career. To prove something to myself. And I found something better. Someone better. She touched his face. You. This. Us. Still sounds kind of cheesy when you say it. Learned from the best. Is it working? She pretended to consider. Maybe you should convince me. So he did. With a kiss that tasted like the future and promise and all the beautiful complications of loving someone with your whole heart. Inside, his family watched through the window. Mrs. Park with cautious approval, Jun-ho with relief, Hae-won with unabashed joy, Mr. Park with knowing satisfaction. She's good for him, Mr. Park said in Korean. She's good, Mrs. Park agreed. Then, softer, he's happy. He is. And if she hurts him, we'll handle it together. Like we handle everything. But even Mrs. Park could see the truth shining in her son's face, in the way he held Amara like she was precious and permanent. This wasn't going to end in heartbreak. This was going to last. 2 years after that. The wedding was small, just family and close friends, a mix of Nigerian and Korean traditions that made everyone cry and laugh in equal measure. Amara wore white lace with Ankara accents. Min-jae wore a traditional hanbok. They exchanged vows in English, Korean, and Yoruba, promising to love each other through memory and forgetting, through distance and proximity, through every second chance they'd been given. When the officiant pronounced them married, the crowd erupted. And later, at the reception, when the DJ played their song, the one Min-jae had composed, the one Amara had sung in his studio that first time they danced together in the center of the floor. I have a confession, Min-jae murmured against her ear. On our wedding day? Bull. I still don't remember the first time you sang to me. In the coma. It's the one memory that won't come back. Amara pulled back to look at him. Are you sad about that? No. Because I remember every moment since. Every coffee date. Every terrible line. Every time you rolled your eyes at me. Every real moment. His hands tightened on her waist. The past is just context. This is the story that matters. That's actually not cheesy. Give me time. I'm working up to the cheesy part. Oh no. Oh yes. He spun her, dipped her dramatically. Because Mrs. Park. Don't you dare. You sang me awake once. And I plan to spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret it. Amara laughed, full and bright, the sound carrying across the reception hall. Their families watched Nigerian aunties and Korean helmets finding common ground in matrimonial joy, Jun-ho dancing with Hae-won, Mr. and Mrs. Park swaying together after 30 years of marriage. And in the center of it all, Min-jae and Amara. Two strangers brought together by the worst kind of circumstances, who chose each other anyway. Who built something real from broken memories and borrowed time. Who proved that sometimes the best love stories start in the dark with nothing but a voice, a hope, and the courage to stay when everything says to run. I love you, Amara whispered. I love you too, Min-jae replied. Even if that's the cheesiest thing we've ever said. It's our wedding day. We get a pass. In that case, he kissed her, long and deep and thoroughly. I love you. I love you. I love you. And somewhere in the crowd, over the music and laughter and celebration, someone started singing. The same Korean ballad Amara had sung that first night. Min-jae didn't remember hearing it in the darkness. But he remembered this moment. And that was enough. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more Afro-Korean tender heart stories. Drop a comment telling me your favorite moment, and let me know what story you want to see next. Thank you for watching. Red Heart Black Heart.